Assalamu alaikum, my name is Shan Ali and I'm here today with Khaleel Muhammad, well-known nasheed singer from the UK. So we're going to ask him a few questions and he's going to talk about his work. So Khaleel, hi, welcome, assalamu alaikum. So where are you from, and tell us a little bit about your singing.
Well, I live in London. I've lived there pretty much all my life, northwest London. And I am a revert to Islam. I've been a Muslim 14 years, and how I came to Islam is through a particular individual who I met. And I think there's a lesson in this particular story in that it's important how Muslims conduct themselves, because the person who gave me dawah, who showed me Islam, his conduct was so, his behavior was so wonderful that he made me curious as to what Islam was about. And also he infused in me at a very early development stage the need to spread what I then knew in terms of dawah. And that's something that I've tried to do since that time, 14 years ago, to now. And it's developed into doing different types of things till the point where I'm now doing nasheeds, Islamic devotional songs. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, the glory of Allah is with me all day long, molding my frown into a smile. The beauty of this world makes me want to sing out loud from every mountain top for all to hear. Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah.
How did you meet this man?
Fluke, if you like, if you believe in things like this. It was someone that I knew who wanted me to meet this person because they felt he was a quite exemplary person and that I could learn something from him. I thought that was I'm not learning anything from anybody. But I actually did meet him and he did impress me. He was very articulate, very intelligent, and at the time he was fasting. And I was thinking to myself, well, why are you starving yourself? It doesn't make any sense. And knowing that he was religious, I thought he would say something nonsensical. But he actually gave a very good explanation as to why he fasted and the benefits from it. And I thought, this makes sense. It's very common sense based. So that's kind of how I
So you started reading the Quran and...
Yeah, he gave me books. Well, he didn't give me straight away. He used to come to my house and leave pamphlets here and there by accident. And I would ignore them, and then after a while, I'd look at them and sort of read them, and then I got more and more curious, and I said to him, well, what's this mean, or what does that mean? Which is the technique I use myself now for dawah. I accidentally leave leaflets in my family's house or friends. So I read, watched videos, etc., and I just was impressed by what I was encountering. So yeah, it was.
And that was 14 years ago?
I was 14 years ago. It doesn't feel like it, but yeah, that was 14 years
And so
ago.
how'd you get into nasheed, and how'd you...
How long do you have? The nasheed, I never really wanted to sing. I used to sing before I was Muslim. I sang mainstream. A friend of mine who was a well-known producer in the UK, he heard me sing in the bath somewhere, and he says to me, my name was Michael at the time, he said, Michael, why don't you come and do some singing for me? Because he wanted to get into music, and he needed someone to do vocals on his demos. So I said, yeah, why not? So I began to sing songs for him, and we actually didn't succeed in getting a record deal, but it gave me a taste for singing. However, I left the music business because of the things they say about the music business, sex, drugs, and rock and roll is true. The hypocrisy, something I couldn't tolerate. Behind the scenes, people were backstabbing each other, they were taking drugs, two-timing each other, and this kind of thing. And yet, when they go on stage, they're singing about love and togetherness, and I couldn't reconcile the two. So I left, and I went back to my initial passion, which was painting and graphic design, and I did that for a number of years. Then, after I became Muslim, I wrote and I produced an audio adventure story called The Adventures of Hakim. And my family encouraged me to send it to Yusuf Islam. And I said, don't be silly. Why would Yusuf Islam want to listen to my silly little tape of these kids having adventures? And they said, no, you should try it. Alhamdulillah, he through his representatives, wrote me a letter saying that we would love to have a meeting with him. So I went to the Mountain Black offices and they said, yeah, we really like your stuff, why don't you come on board? And I actually ended up narrating the whole story myself. And at the time, I wrote a little song called Streetwise Believer, and I sung it just as a demo. And the brother who was working there at the time, Taib Shah, he said, look, why don't you do this song properly, and we'll add it as a bonus track on the audio cassette. And I didn't want to, but I said, okay. And that is kind of how the Nasheed thing started off. Having said that, that was 5 years ago. And I did that song, and then I stopped singing. And then 2 years ago, the same brother said to me, look, Khaleel, what do you do an album? I said, nah, I don't want to sing. I didn't fancy it at all. But he kept pushing me. And I began to look at some songs I'd messed around with, and I showed them to him, and he said, yeah, these could make good nasheeds. So eventually I gave in, and I did my first album called Heaven. It was about 2 years ago. And I was stunned that people actually liked it, and people was inspired by what I had to say in the songs, and it was encouraging for me because, as I said before, at the early stages of my being a Muslim, the emphasis was always to teach Islam, to spread the message of Islam in any means that you can, and because I was artistic, it made sense that I would use those talents, those abilities to do that job. So if it was singing, I would sing something devotional. If it was art, I'd use it in a devotional sense. If it was voiceovers, I'd do it in a devotional sense. So I also think there's a good lesson there for youngsters, that if you have a talent, you should try and use it to express yourself, of course. But I think it's important also to have a message, to have a vehicle, to have something, some kind of platform where your talent can grow and you can express yourself. So, as I said, for me, it was giving dawah, it was spreading Islam.